The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. Dan here, along with Michael and with Moscow White, Mr. Chapman. We all good? We all excited? Looking forward to the playoff final at Wembley in that London.
I'm excited for Levi Solicitors.
Well, actually, we are going to be having a beer with the guys from Levi's who are travelling down.
And they do have an office in London.
Right.
So if you're down there buying one of those expensive houses, use Levi Solicitors.
Yeah.
To get 10% off.
Yeah, and your legal fees.
You don't get 10% off your house.
No, God, no.
Just to be clear.
Just your legal fees, innit?
That would be a hell of a service.
Wow. What a promo. They told me, no. Yeah, it's 10% off your legal fees. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. For, all your house moving needs. Will's probate conveyancing, as Michael would always say. Plus, you know what solicitors do? Lawyers and that. Have a look on the website. Get your discount. Happy days. It's off to Wembley. There's nothing else much to talk about, is there, really? We are now mere days away. How have you been faring up? My life has essentially collapsed in any meaningful sense, in that all I can think about when I'm awake is what's going to happen on Sunday. It's waking me up in the middle of the night thinking what's going to happen on Sunday, and that's just thinking about the match ball live stream.
It's too big of a gap, isn't it? I think is the thing. It's a week since we played Norwich, and I think a week would. I know a Thursday would be a slightly weird day to host a final, but yeah. I think I'd be up for it. You know
how we were saying in the run-up to the semis, like, come on, we just want this season to end now. It needs to come to an end. It's been going on too long. We've been in this weird, lots of hinterland, post-season hinterland, like say, between the second leg and the final. And nearly all the rest of football has kind of wound down now, and yet here we are, we're still going. I'm kind of happy.
Did you not enjoy the exciting end to the Premier League season?
What happened?
Man City went a goal up after 2 minutes and everyone went, all right, yeah. Fine.
Wow. What I liked best was then finding out that the government, Abu Dhabi government, have been speaking to our government about what's been going on, and it's dead exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Up the Sky Blues.
And weirdly, yesterday, Newcastle seemed to be playing Spurs in Australia, which threw me.
But Rochdale against Chorley are not allowed an FA Cup replay.
I saw that and I was like, is that still? Oh, okay.
Can't wait to get to the Premier League, Moscow.
You know when we won the European Cup in 1975?
Yes.
Do you want the dates of the end of that season? So the last day of the season was the 28th of April, 1975.
That's a month.
A 4-2 defeat to Tottenham. And then the date of the Bayern Munich game when we beat them in the European Cup final was, you are correct,
25th, wasn't it?
The 28th.
Oh, 28th.
Of May 1975. Wow. So exactly 1 month between the end of the season and the European Cup final.
Although it did take a month to get to Paris back then. Because you had to
a tugboat, steamboat.
It was I believe it was a paddle boat.
Okay,
yeah, and you used to have to go all around the British Isles before you were allowed to go to France. It took a month to. It's like a cruise, if you like, kind of. But yeah, that's a long time, isn't it? Imagine that.
Even then, the FA Cup final that year was the 3rd of May. So you still had almost a month to wait after the domestic season had ended. Yeah, so long. I don't think it helped Leeds United, the players, and in that respect, they were pretty bored by the delay. Obviously, it didn't prevent them from lifting the trophy on the night, although we didn't get the trophy, obviously, just the win. But yeah, so if you can't handle a week, that's another reason why we should go back to the 70s, etc. In our day, I mean, it's both ways, isn't it? They should be playing every day like they did in the old days, home and away. You play Bayern Munich away on Tuesday and then Bayern Munich at home on Wednesday, and you should have to wait a month between those games. Maybe that's it. The teams can play each other daily, but you are only allowed to find out about the results on with a month delay, and it gets kind of exponentially longer. So Leeds play 30 games in 30 days, but it takes you 30 months to find out what happened in those 30 days.
Okay.
And then they keep, 365 games, you need 365 months.
Was it us that was talking about when you used to kind of go on holiday to Spain or whatever, and obviously being a tight-fisted Yorkshireman that you are, you would try and pick up, because there was no Twitter, there was no internet or anything like that. When you were a kid, you'd go to like the local little newsagent, tobacconist,
and you'd have to speed read the football results
from yesterday
before the man came out and told you off for not buying a paper and saying it's not a library or something, because you'd be like, right, shit, just need to absorb all of this.
Yeah, what's the transfer gossip for today? But it's a day out of date, and the newspaper would have cost you about 2 or 3. I was going to say euros, not euros, pesetas. Back then, wasn't it? Of course.
And you know what? It was fine. I don't want to be like totally old man about this, but this is where what's his face, the transfer pervert,
Fabrizio,
yeah. That's why you don't need him in your life. If you don't find out about your team signing a player for days, maybe weeks after it's happened, it's fine.
Yeah, he's still signed.
Yeah.
You can still watch him.
It's great.
And certainly knowing like 10 minutes before, everyone knows.
Especially in summer when they can't play until the autumn anyway. It's just, they'll arrive just, I'm all in favour, I'm sure I said this before, do it all in secret and then on the morning of the first game of the season, publish the squad.
There's a question for you about this. Playoff final then. Would you rather they played the game and just told you afterwards what had happened? Or would you rather live through it? Not knowing what the result's going to be either way.
You've got to live through it.
Is that what this boils down to this weekend?
Yeah, of course it is. For better or worse. Because if you just find out the result and you've won, you won't celebrate like if you were there and you saw it and you were involved in it. I mean, the same goes for defeat. Because if you're just told of a defeat, you kind of go, oh, shit. And then you move on. But that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here for the agony.
Yeah. I think I'm determined this time to enjoy the build-up. One of the themes I've returned to a lot on the shows in recent weeks was trying to savour and celebrate moments, as Jesse might say. Celebrate moments. We've got some Jesse, by the way.
Celebrate Mounties.
We're going to throw some Jesse-isms at you on the member show this week. So a real treat. There's going to be more historic playoff chat on there, but some Jesse-isms coming your way, Moscow. So look out for that on this week's member show coming out. I think it's Saturday.
Rad.
My determination to enjoy this as an occasion and just hope that the football goes right as well. And if we do win, it'll be the cherry on the icing rather than being the be-all and end-all, even though deep down I know it's the be-all and end-all.
I mean, it definitely takes the edge off because the Premier League's awful. But it's just about the day. And I undoubtedly want to win for the day. I mean, we know in a very, very minor comparison, we go down to London for the FSA Awards.
Yeah.
And it's always fine. But when you win, it's really good.
Yeah. No, you're right. Now you've said that, it's making me more panicky.
Because you can enjoy it to the point at which you lose and then you go, oh, it just take the air out of it a bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Whereas when you win, you get to be obnoxious for a full day.
Well, I was going to say, when we went down to the most recent one, we were on the same table as the Arsenal lads who won the award as well. And it was one of the first awards out. It was in the first 3, equivalent to conceding an early goal.
Yeah, very
at Wembley.
much.
You've travelled all this way down. You're, oh, right, it's like that, is it?
It was actually more like the sort of first half of Norwich the other day, where you get to halfway through and you're like, I just want to go home now. Sick of this.
Yeah,
but this might be better.
The other thing is spite. So you don't want to be in a situation where Rishi Sunak is in full kit, giving it large to the Leeds fans, backed up by all the legal pyrotechnics that I assume Southampton will be encouraging their fans to bring in.
I reckon Will Ferrell will take him down if he's there.
An elf versus
a little goblin.
Yeah, see how that works. But yeah, so spoiling Southampton's day is also a big part of it. And you don't want to be, maybe as much as that, maybe it's not so much spoiling their day, but not wanting to be part of their celebration.
Yes.
Or, have to deal with any of that going on. It's much easier. I wouldn't be in the situation of like, I don't know what happened with that stupid video of a Arsenal fan walking past Stamford Bridge at the weekend and loads of people yelling in his face and stuff. No reason to do any of that. What would be perfect is that we win and all the Southampton fans just go away. Or in fact, even if we lose, all the Southampton fans just go away. That would be perfect. So it's not so we don't have to deal with them in either direction. What
I will say is, I know we kind of bemoan some aspects of the social media age. We were talking about it there with how we, used to pick up the newspapers on holiday and it's fine being in an information vacuum. If we do win, all the footage, the videos, the photos, that's one of the good things about everybody having an HD camera in their pocket, or 4K camera as they are these days. There'll be so much good footage and we'll be able to kind of live it forever, over and over. And you can ride that wave if it's good.
Just a barrage of happy slapping incidents.
I have got a video of that was taken on actual camera of the 2006 playoff final. It's completely unwatchable. It's just some artifacts moving around on a screen. It's absolutely awful. The pictures are all right, but Christ, the video's bad.
Was it Super 8 footage?
Is that hand cranked? No, it's surely not, is it?
Could you see JFK getting assassinated in the background?
Was it as granular as your copy of Basic Instinct? You used to rewind and pause it.
But yeah, there's a throwback.
There it is, one for the kids and all that.
No, because I mean that film was an 18.
It was an 18, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Don't show your kids basic instincts.
No. No.
It's all on the internet these days, anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you need to find that sort of thing, I've heard there are places you can find it. Anyway, got waylaid, haven't we? Talking about the final, a nice day out would be nice. And we're going to be match balling live, free for everyone. Because the logistics are just that much easier than trying to fuck about with it.
Because you can't be bothered setting permissions.
No. If we win, I want to just go and enjoy it and not worry about setting permissions on videos later on. If we lose, fine, just get it out of the way.
Yeah,
one of the two. So
people need a focus for their grief, don't they?
So if you do want to watch the match ball afterwards, the address is http. No, it's available on YouTube. If you just have a look, it should be floating around now because the video has been. I've scheduled it for 6 o'clock provisionally for Sunday. You can move your start times with that. If obviously it goes to extra time, it'll be later than that. Penalties, let's not even talk about.
Have you got a prediction? Because you say you've been thinking about it all week.
I've been running lots of scenarios. Have you been doing this? Have you been thinking about different scenarios about what might unfold? So rather than having a prediction, I do keep envisaging us winning, and then I get these intrusive thoughts going, yeah, but you could lose as well. So just when I kind of talk myself into the idea that we're destined to win because we're due one, and we've got the momentum of the semi-final second leg, and there's just, I don't know, so many reasons I keep talking myself into why we're going to win, but I have to remind myself, I think just for the good of not getting carried away, thinking it could go the other way, but I don't really want to entertain those thoughts.
I have visualised several players scoring goals and how
many of them are Firpo?
None of them Firpo.
Really?
I've kind of, in my head, I've gone through Nonto Somerville because they're probably the most likely, and also Archie Gray.
I've visualised a Somerville penalty being awarded inside the first 10 minutes because he cuts in from the left as he's wont to do, and he gets fouled and tripped in the area. That woke me up last night thinking about that. So. See,
my dream last night was I was losing to West Brom weirdly, with Willie Nonso being constantly left 1-on-1 against their attack.
A stress dream.
A stress dream. And we kept getting away with it, actually, in the dream. It happened more than once that it was just Willie Nonso. They counter-attacked, and it was just Willie Nonso chasing back several attackers, and they kept fucking it up, thankfully. I think there was a ghost goal as well that it wasn't awarded to him, where it went through the back of the net and wasn't given. Yeah. Which isn't going to happen because there's...
Mark Hughes at the Dell. That was Southampton against us.
Oh, God, maybe that's where it connects.
It bounced off the advertising boards at the back, didn't it? And came back out again, and then it didn't get given. Is that right?
It's absolutely correct, because at the Dell, where Southampton used to play, they had a tiny gap between the goal lines and the pitch, so their nets were very shallow. And it's Michael Bridges' hat-trick game, I'm sure.
Yes. It's got that sloping stand behind that.
The chocolate boxes
was nice,
as they were known.
Yeah, and so smacked it off the advertising hoardings through the net, and no goal, which was hilarious because he's really never noted for his sense of humour.
So yeah, I'm excited. I think the word to use, is the one that we used on the show we recorded with Phil, which look out for that. I think we've got 2 this week. The little reflection on the semi-finals, plus we've got a preview of the final, which is going to be out Saturday morning UK time. Anticipation. That's where I'm at. I think that's the right word. It's the most neutral word I can find for where I'm at, I think, headspace-wise. I
am actually genuinely down the middle on it. I don't feel massively pessimistic, but I also don't feel like we're going to win.
No, when I start thinking, I haven't been consumed by the thoughts of it, but when I do start thinking about it, because Flora was in the office there and said she thinks Firpo's going to score the winner. And when I start, I think in extra time, I start thinking through how we would get to that point. I predict sort of a tight game, quite a boring game, until the 75th minute. And then 90 minutes, it'll be 1-1. It's going to be a flurry. Everyone will be like, oh, the last 15 minutes are really exciting. And then extra time, I think sometimes you get extra time.
Typically nothing seems to happen in extra time.
I think it'll end 5-5.
Right, we're going there, are we?
And then we'll lose on penalties.
I genuinely, in a more realistic prediction.
That is my realistic prediction.
Okay. I suspect
8 goals in extra time.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go mental. Remember, because it's the Champo Division 1 playoff final. If you remember Charlton against Sunderland, the Clive Mendonca game, full madness. And I think we were talking about on the members show, the only playoff game, the only game I've been to at Wembley was Manchester City against Gillingham in the League One. Madness. But most of that game was boring, and then carnage. And all that thing I think you get lulled into extra time is boring and nothing happens by European football and FA Cup football, because the FA Cup, it's two reserve teams and nobody actually cares who's going through, and then, like, they're only doing extra time because they can't have a replay because they've got to go to Australia. So the playoffs is a completely different thing, and I think it will I just have a feeling that if it goes to extra time, it's not going to be a cagey affair. It's going to be, if you imagine the way we played in the first half against Norwich, but then Southampton also playing like that against us.
Fireworks. Kapoosh.
Yeah, and then lose on penalties.
I was going to say, I think a single goal probably settles this one. Maybe with a second late. If it happens early and someone's hanging on for it.
So somewhere between 1 and 10 goals we're expecting.
No, I think it'll be 1-0 either way. Maybe the team that's in front gets a second breakaway goal right at the end because the other team's trying to press them and attack them. But I feel like it's going to be a single goal. It feels like to me.
Oh yeah, that disappointing when you're down early and then you spend all game trying to get back, and then like the 85th minute you concede a counter attack. That's awful.
Stands start emptying.
Yeah, but that's not me predicting Southampton will do it to us. I just think it'll be a cagey, not cagey affair, but it'll just be a low scoring game.
The other option with
we win 4-0, that'll be fine.
When I was trying to imagine the Firpo extra time winner, I would think that would be 115th minute, near enough to the end that it sustains you all the way through, but not so far from the end that you start to panic. God. It's like near enough that you're like, we've done this, we've got it. Firpo has won it, and then but then I'm likening it a bit to the Beckford goal against Bristol Rovers, but you always forget that it was like another half an hour after that. But that feeling that, because after he scored that goal, that Bristol were never scoring until you watched it back and realised that they were actually quite close.
In terms of the lateness of it, it's what you were touching on about when we were previewing the second leg of the semi-finals, Michael, when you were sort of saying that if it gets to 70 minutes in that second leg, which thankfully didn't occur like this, it was a bit of a romp, wasn't it? But if it gets to 70 minutes and it's still 0-0 and it's a bit cagey, you can feel like the stakes getting higher and higher, the jeopardy gets higher and higher. The potential for the release, for the moment of joy there is just off the charts, brilliant. But the tension that kind of comes with it hand in hand is almost unbearable, and that's the case for Wembley, isn't it, as well? Unbearable
is actually what you want when you come out on the right side of it. Like if you could actually, obviously you wouldn't want to script it yourself because you need to not know what's coming. But like the Blackburn home game when they scored in the last minute and then we scored twice, that'd be great. That'd be like, that would genuinely be the best day ever. Yeah. But in the moment of them scoring, you obviously just would want to leave London pretty quickly.
For that to happen, though, we would need to obviously bring back Bailey Peacock-Farrell.
Yeah, you're just talking about
the inspiration of those games.
Thought experiments again. If someone said to you now, right, you're going to win 1-0, would you take it and would you enjoy it, even though it would dilute the experience of, like, if they told you, I can tell you what the result is, and you go, right, I've got to decide now whether I want to know or not, and you go, right, okay. And
are you offering me a guaranteed win, and I know the result? Yeah, I'd take the guaranteed win.
Would you?
Yeah.
Take the joy out of the day.
Yeah, but I could just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would.
Would you tell everybody around you, say, no, we're going to win this 1-0, and they go, shut up, dickhead. No, little genie told me. A genie told me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I could not waste my money betting on Southampton, at least.
That's true. Yeah.
So that'd be good. But no, you want it to be tense.
I guess what I'm getting
as tense as possible, but you just want to come out on the right side.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is I want to kind of win it for the purposes of winning it, for the occasion, for the weekend, for the day, for that night in London. Like I say, the prize at the end of it, the Premier League, brings with it a different set of challenges that are not all good and not all that enticing, some of them. Mm. But it's the opportunity to have the day, isn't it? That's all I'm craving.
Yeah, absolutely the same. Look at the 3 teams that went up last year. None of them have had a good time. I know Luton have had their moments, haven't they?
Vincent Kompany's come out of it quite well.
We just discussed. Well, just after we finished recording with Phil, we were like, "What are they doing?"
Heckingbottom must have turned them down.
He is basically, if Heckingbottom had stayed in the job for the full season, it could have gone down to them too.
This is Bayern Munich taking Vincent Kompany, for anyone who's not kept up. I mean, wouldn't you want the nice guy from Luton?
Yeah.
I suppose he's not famous enough.
The nice guy
he's
from
handsome,
Luton.
Whatever he's called. Yeah,
Rob
the good looking.
Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, Vincent Kompany's quite good looking if you like a
bald
big
man.
head, a bald
Feel like
head.
a big bald head.
Get in there, Michael.
But yeah, why is Chris Wilder not being talked about if it's people that can get relegated from the Premier League? And he looks,
because Chris Wilder will be muttering about bloody Germans under his breath.
But his whole thing was flying centre backs, wasn't it? And they can do that in Germany. It was it's where Pep Guardiola would start playing his fullbacks in midfield and stuff. They wouldn't believe what Chris Wilder could bring to the table. And
trying to show Champions League footballers videos of Chris Basham going, just do this.
Just sign him.
Yeah,
just go through him.
I think he's been out injured all season.
Come cheap, then. You get him cheap.
Who's up front for Bayern Munich still?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
That's the guy.
But he, Scum will buy him. And then that means Ollie McBurney can move, free up the shirt.
In terms of managerial churn, you're talking about what have I envisaged? I've envisaged not just our game, but a bit of narrative around this week, because there were links for Maresca at Leicester to go to Chelsea. And I know it's not been that popular down there, so if that happened, they may welcome that, you don't know. And then Kieran McKenna, also linked to Chelsea, but also linked to Brighton. Possibly for both those managers to leave their respective promoted clubs who've been trying to rub our faces in it since the conclusion of the season, us to go up on Sunday and be the worst people in the world. That's what I want almost as much as just going up. If we could have that, that'd be your proper, if Carlsberg did weeks in football.
I mean, Ipswich have been all right, I have to say. I've no axe to grind with them. But also...
Still funny.
Also, he should definitely take that Brighton job. Because
he should take the Scum job.
Yeah.
I
don't want him to succeed.
No, he'll get that after the Brighton job. He'll do fairly well at Brighton, and then Scum will offer him that, and then he'll do like 6 months, everyone will hate him.
Yeah, there's the risk if he goes to Brighton first of him doing really well with them. Because he'll, even if he becomes the greatest manager ever, he'll go to Old Trafford and fail. That's just what happens now. So I'd rather he just did that first without helping somebody else.
That's what happens now.
It is what happens.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
I mean, Ten Hag was also in the... I mean, I don't know what's going on with Bayern Munich, but they were also after Ten Hag. So they must still think he's good. That was before I then found out that they were looking at the Steve Evans sort of... I mean, is Neil Warnock there? I mean, he's tied himself to Plymouth.
What again?
Torquay.
Warnock isn't going to Germany.
They've told me not to. Give me a list of things.
I'm just helping about.
They're giving me a list of things not to mention. Starting with we'll go there. Shit, no. So that could happen. But the one manager though, what does it say about old Farker that nobody wants him?
He's in a job. He's got the best job in the world.
We should force Bayern Munich to have him just so that we're not being left in the lurch. Chelsea, if they want a manager, the best manager in the Championship, it's Daniel Farker. So unless Bayern Munich are like waiting until, because German connection, waiting until the playoff final to make their move.
Farker would have a good shout at it. If they're getting company, he's have a legit argument.
It does throw everything into just... Now Jesse Marsh will be fucking... What's he doing messing about with Canada when he could be back in Germany? They were so impressed by everything he did in Leipzig.
The Square Ball Podcast.